Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So it's, what is it, January 28th today in Minnesota. Super cold out. It was, I think, -2 degrees or something this morning, which actually sounds not terrible compared to the 22 below we had a few days ago. Anyway, I want to get on here and just, here's kind of my idea of what I wanted to share with you today. The statement that I want to make is spend time with those you love. Okay, let that sink in for a second. So the idea being that we live in a hyper busy world and we are filling our schedules, we are filling our lives with all sorts of things that we find meaningful, we find necessary, we find important, right? And then sometimes we are just going and going and going, and we sometimes are just exhausted. And all of that, maybe it's good stuff. Maybe you're volunteering at church, maybe you're volunteering at school, and we all go through seasons of life. But I would encourage you to rethink that idea and to rethink the busyness culture and actually think about how can you slow down, right? Slow down. There's this idea that, guys sometimes get busy and they'll work a lot and they will say, well, I want to be able to earn, I want to be able to, and the concept is quality over quantity. I don't have as much time with my kids, but I want that time that I do have to be quality time. Maybe it's a better vacation. Maybe it's, whatever it may be, whatever quality is the idea. And I will challenge that, for you to rethink that idea. And that quantity is really more important, and to prioritize the right people, the most important people in your life. So the idea of spend time with those you love, prioritize them, give them more of your time. I guarantee you, your children don't care what you're doing with them. If it's just simply sitting down and doing artwork, or if it's playing ball outside, or if, in the crazy cold that we have, even doing some activities outside. But that time that they get to interact with you as a dad is going to be more important to them than the rare opportunity to get to do something ultra special in terms of a vacation or some sort of experience. Or even the things that we can buy for our kids, the more that you can afford, where you can give them nicer stuff. And I'm not just saying with your kids. I think prioritize time with your wife, right? For those of you that are married, it is. So I guess the big challenge that I'm issuing is be intentional with your schedule and your calendar, and make sure that you prioritize within that, instead of answering the demands of more work, answering the demands of more volunteer time. There's no shortage of groups and people that are around us that want to ask us to do more things. And it's good to do things. It's good to volunteer. It's good to help. It's important, right? Many things can't function without the volunteers that are there. But your most important job is going to be interacting with the closest people to you, and that's your immediate family, right? And even be careful about your extended family, because sometimes there's confusion in that, that you owe something to your extended family. Your extended family is good, but provided that they take the rightful place behind your actual immediate family, and that you're focused on the people that are in your direct sphere of influence. So that would be your wife, your kids, your closest friends, the people that really matter to you because of how real they are, because of just there's very few people that most of us, if you actually look at it, that could actually count as true friends. That if we had a major life issue that we could be fully vulnerable with and that we could call on them to help us walk through whatever mud we got into. And yet we sometimes cater to all sorts of people around us that do not fit that scenario in that group because we feel some sort of need to, or we feel like we have to. And so our life, our schedule gets busy with all sorts of, errands and volunteer opportunities and things that in and of themselves are not bad things, but they will all compete with the most important things that you have. And one of the things that, so now at my stage of life, I have a 25-year-old son and I am blessed. So 25-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter, I'm blessed that I have fantastic relationships with them both. But as I've gone through life and just seeing people around me, friends who would not maybe necessarily be able to say the same exact thing as I just said, and some of that is those moments, those times with your children, you can't redo them, right? Like you can't all of a sudden try to build a relationship with your 25-year-old when you've never had a relationship with them when they were younger. And saying no relationship is a harsh way to look at it. But my point is, you need to have their heart. They need to be excited when you come home. And they are excited, even when you're not a good dad, even when you're not doing things right. But they crave that time with you. And that is your most important work as your mission on earth, right? Your marriage and your fatherhood is your most important work that you will have. And so don't lose that, the priority aspect of that, and don't allow other things which will compete very, very aggressively with your time to be able to spend with your family. And it's not enough to just find and carve out, vacations in individual places like that, but you need to be intentional in devoting time regularly, for your wife for sure, and for your children. And so I think that idea of spend time with those you love, because that time, regardless of how mundane the task or the thing that you're doing with them, that time is just valuable, right? Being together. Think about just like go back to when you were dating your wife. Like you could spend every waking moment being with with that woman. Like you if you could just carve out and just be together all the time. Right. And obviously we still have to do life. We still have to go to work and other responsibilities. But prioritize those relationships, because it's like anything else, right? The things that we tend to, the things that we devote time and attention to, they will flourish. And the things that we don't allot time and focus on, they will not, right? They will ebb away and will not be there. And so I've had a chance to kind of have a front row seat to friends of mine who did not spend as much time or did not spend much time with their kids, and just watching awkward interactions sometimes where a dad is trying to get a hug from his daughter, and you could tell it's very awkward because it's not something that is normal for them. Right. And so it is an amazing thing for me to have my children look forward to, hanging out together, grabbing lunch or getting coffee, or just sitting on the couch and talking about life and talking about everything. Right. And like, I remember talking to my wife and saying, man, my children ask me questions and say things to me, the kinds of things that I would have never said to my parents, like never would have been comfortable asking. Maybe it's something about, sexuality. Maybe it's something else and it's, my wife's reminded me, like, that is a gift that only comes with a trusting, high trust relationship, that they can be vulnerable and they can ask, and we can have the deepest conversations and help guide your children in the truth of what really matters and what things are. So Zig Ziglar has a quote, and that's where in the beginning, that's where it comes from. Spend time with those you love. Now, the full quote is, spend time with those you love, because one day you'll either say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. And so that's my encouragement for you today, is those that are closest to you, people that you love and those that truly love you, give them most of your time that you have available. And as much as possible, guard that time, prevent others, as well-meaning and as maybe great a causes as they may be, because you may have time later in your life stage that you may have more time for volunteering and doing some of those other things. Because the other thing that I will say too, I think even the busyness of the kids' sports and a lot of those things, I think there's some societal pressure that this is what we do. Kids have to be in all these sports, and mom and dad never see each other because they're driving around, they're getting to all these different places. And I would say, are your kids really loving it and wanting it, or is this partly sort of societal, and is this maybe coming from you? And then even there, guard that free time, the downtime that you can just have with your kids at home to just play, unstructured, just downtime. It is very, very valuable. So again, spend time with those you love, because one day you're going to look back and say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.